Hi, Miss Rachel. How are you? And I hope this makes you well today. This video is in response to the last video you made for this week. I think this is the third week, and I'm here to give my response. Let me know if there's any other thing you wanted me to add, and I will definitely go back and make a separate video on it. But for now, these are the notes that I had. As always, I had a couple of notes here, and I'll be going over the things you said. Now, you talked about how does knowing your purpose give you an edge everywhere. You see, knowing your purpose, in my opinion, is the most difficult thing anyone can do. People feel like it's easy. It is not easy. It is not easy. Everybody discovers their purpose at different times in life. Like one of my mentors will say, she said she wants to die empty. When you know that purpose in which God created you for, you've done everything you have done. I don't know if that makes sense. So, yeah, you said, how does knowing your purpose give you an edge everywhere? And like I said, I'll be going over my notes here and I will explain it. So, since knowing your purpose is not very easy, and I think that's the reason why may God bless you and every other coach out there who are doing great jobs in helping people discover their purpose, because I feel like that's a major thing that people don't understand, which is, what are you called to do? Some people don't understand how to go around it. They don't know how to get there. They don't know, they don't even know why they should have a purpose. Okay, so now the first thing I have on my list here is, the first thing you talked about is, you said know your words and forget about your how. My goodness. When I heard it, I'm like, that's it. That was me. I'll give you a little story of myself. Like, this is 2021, like 11 years ago. Is it 11 years? Yes, 11 years ago. 2010 and 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago, in 2009, when I was preparing for my youth service. I wasn't sure how I was going to get posted to a big city. A city where I will have opportunities. So I had considered Port Harcourt. Since I schooled in Uniport, I had considered Abuja. Since Abuja is FCT, you have a lot of companies there. I had also considered Lagos. Since Lagos is very, very, you know what Lagos is? Lagos is very commercialized. Okay, I had considered Kano. Was out of my league, because I felt like Kano is just one extreme. I was not even willing to, to have anything to do with that place. Okay, so I considered Port Harcourt, Abuja, and Lagos. Where do I choose for my NYSC? So I had to streamline my choices because of what I wanted. I knew what I wanted, and what did I want then? I was a young girl, even though I was in a relationship with some guy, and thankfully he's my husband right now. So I was in a relationship. I was a young girl. I wanted to grow my career. That was what I wanted. I was not certain how I was going to do that, but like I said, I just figured out that, okay, for me to be able to grow in any career that I decide, I needed to be in that organization that will give me opportunity for growth. And where do I find such an organization? I considered Port Harcourt, but why I struck out Port Harcourt from my list was, Port Harcourt was a place that I'm sorry to use the word, but that's just what it is. They are tribalistic, and most of the big companies you have, they are oil companies. And I'm not certain. I didn't have a fantastic experience when it was time for my industrial training. It was so stressful for me to get. I remember one time my roommate and I went to write an exam in LNG, liquefied natural gas. That's one of their biggest oil companies in Rivers State, in Port Harcourt. So we went there. We had written these exams, but after we had written this exam, one of the examiners, they called us and told us, because I'm very inquisitive by nature, so I approached him and said that, please, is there any way you can help us in that they will let us, mind you, this exam is just to come and do industrial training there. It's not for a job, but you needed to see the multitude of people that came in for that exam. So the guy told me that, where are you from? That was the first thing he asked me. I said, I'm from Edo State. He asked my roommate, where are you from? My roommate said she was from Delta State. He told her that they won't take us because, and I'm like, why? He said, because they always leave such slots for their indigents. And that if it even happens that they take us into the organization, that they will frustrate us there. Do you get? If it is, now maybe I would have just shot my shot. But as soon as he told me that, I'm like, you know what? If our industrial training stress can be like this, what will job opportunity look like? So I'm like, you know what? Port Harcourt is out of the list for me when it comes to a place where I want to grow my career. Then I considered Abuja. I had a couple of friends that did their NYSC in Abuja. So I talked to them. I asked them, what is it like? What's the opportunity for jobs? They were like, Abuja use corpers. It's either you work in a school or you're posted to a bank. And most of all those banks, you need to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that will help you get a bank job. I looked at it. I said, you know what? It's like this Abuja thing will not work. And again, they said accommodation in Abuja is so expensive. That was what we were told us at that time. I went to Abuja, and that's my kind of person. I took a trip to Abuja to go and see if it is a place I would want to grow my career. But when I went there, I liked the road network, I liked the town, but I was not seeing that companies that I wanted. Do you get a situation whereby I would get into a company and I knew my what, but I didn't know my how. This one I'm telling you was like a year before my NYSC. And now it didn't work. I struck out Abuja. Now I was now left with Lagos. I didn't go to Lagos before my NYSC, but before then I was into business. I was buying things from Cotonou, fairly used clothes, I was selling it to students, shoes, purses, handbags and all that. I was buying them cheap in Cotonou and I was selling them in Port Harcourt and making some little money for myself as a student then. But I kind of liked Lagos because Lagos, no matter what you're doing in Lagos, Lagos is stressful. But the thing is, no matter what you are doing, you are seeing your profit. It does not have to be $1 million a day, but you are seeing it. If it's your career, you have a lot of companies. Lagos had the choices that I wanted. That's why I'm like, okay, you know what? I will consider Lagos. Man, this journey has been long. I tell you, this purpose journey has been a long time coming. So now I said, okay, maybe it's Lagos that is the thing for me. Since I had struck at Abuja and Port Harcourt. And I'm like, Lagos. I started asking myself again, for Lagos, where will I stay? Who do I know? What companies do I know? All those things kind of discouraged me. But the truth be told is I had to go for youth service. And I had to do what I had to do early, because if it happens that they posted me somewhere else, it would have been worse than if they had posted me to Lagos. Because with Lagos, you have the choices. But I didn't have accommodation. I did not know anybody there. In fact, as at when I was in my orientation camp, I had nowhere to stay. Okay, that one will be story for another day. So that's what I'm trying to explain what you mean by know your what and forget your how. And now the hustle continued. I was posted to Lagos. My first place I was posted to in Lagos State my first place of primary assignment was Ideas House. Some company, I didn't know what they were doing. They were into media, but you have to go out every day to look for clients and all that. And the owner of the company then, the wife came in and said that she's not going to pay us any salary. Our salaries are going to be commission based. I mean, thinking like a business owner, no problem. But am I cut out for that as at that time? I wasn't cut out for that because I didn't have a house to stay. I didn't have a job. And now I'm managing to get a small job and they're telling me we're going to be commission based. I'm like, this thing is not for me. Excuse me. It was not for me. So that's why I'm like, you know what? It will not work. After like 2-3 days of going to the job, the next day again, the woman gave us some ridiculous targets. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Does she want us to start prostituting? Where do we get these clients from? We have been going out for 1 week. We've not even been able to get the client. I'm like, you know what? I'm not coming here again. Interestingly, my parents had given me a couple of change for me to get an accommodation. I didn't get the accommodation. I started using my money to go to VI. I've come to most of the companies in VI. Nobody was ready to give me a place of primary assignment. And now I entered the Ikoyi. To cut the long story short, thankfully, after all the hustling and bustling, I got a good place to work. I got MTN head office Lagos. So now I understood my words, but I did not know how. Okay. So let me not boil down with too many stories. Also, knowing your purpose, let me take us back to your question. He said, how does knowing your purpose give you an edge everywhere? The second thing I have on my list here is knowing your purpose. It saves you from being tossed around. My goodness. When you talked about this thing, I'm like, this is just it. If you know your purpose, you won't be tossed around. It's the same thing I talk about when that's more like if you know what you want in your Mr. Right or in your Miss Right, people will not toss you around. You will just realize that when somebody comes to you and you see that this person does not have the features that I want, please to the left, next. If the person does not have it again, to the next, until you find what you want. Okay, so like I said, knowing your purpose, it saves you from being tossed around. Why? Because you know what you want, so anything that is less of that is not for you. Okay. I recently came across a man that unfortunately I got to know him after he had passed on. His name is Dr. Ubon King. Okay, excuse me. He's a great man. I'll advise anybody I know to go listen to his messages on YouTube. He's a great man. He was a man who grew up from grass to grace. Okay, he talked about how education didn't work for him. He had gone to like 3 different schools. He kept having problems there. He was not sure what the problems was. So that's why sometimes when I see people that complain, I keep telling them, why are you complaining? I complain a lot. So when I didn't know better, trust me, I was a big complainer. I used to complain, but right now I've learned better now that you don't have to complain. Things you don't have control over, just leave it for God that knows, that has the answer to everything. Okay, so he talked about his reasons for owning a security company. Let me not buzz down with too many talks. You can check him out on YouTube if you feel like. Okay, so since he knew that his calling was in the security world, he didn't bother himself going to look for a job with Shell, to look for a job as an engineer, when he knows that security job was his calling, and he had a genuine reason for doing it, because he felt like his father was killed and there was nobody to fight for them. So he felt like, he wants to go into the security world to help more people to be secured. So at least he was one man I know that left a mark in the world. So the third thing I have here is, knowing your purpose saves you time. That is true. It saves you time from the same thing I've preached about in my messages and in most of the things that my speaking conferences and my speaking opportunities. Okay, when you know your purpose, it saves you time. Our people will say jack of all trade, master of none. Okay, now you can imagine somebody now, for instance, where do I do this? What analogy do I? Okay, somebody now who is going to let's say from Lagos, you're going to Port Harcourt. Okay, those are the routes I'm used to. You're going to Port Harcourt. You already know by default that from Lagos, okay, you will get to Benin. You will get to Warri. You will get to Bayelsa. Before you will get to Port Harcourt, which is Rivers State. What is your business by going to enter bus, going to Kano first, going to Katsina first, going to Sokoto first? You will come around the whole country before you now pass back again, waste your time, waste your effort, waste your finances, waste your energy, then you come back to Rivers State. If you know your purpose, it saves you time. People will not toss you around. You know what you might not know, like you said, Miss Rachel, you might not know how to get it, but the most important thing is you know what you want. It saves you time. Okay, I'm sure you understand what I mean. The fourth thing I have here is knowing your purpose attracts the right people to you. I say this, let me give you an example. Initially, my Instagram page, I love braiding hair, right? So my Instagram page, I used to post beautiful hairstyles. It kind of attracted a lot of people to my page. In a week, I was getting like 1,000 followers in a week. Sometimes I wake up from sleep and I would see like 50 followers, 120 followers. In a 1 week, I'm getting like 1,000 followers. Organic followers, not ghost followers. That was the reality of it, because I was posting beautiful hairstyles. So people felt like I was the one making it, but I always did a disclaimer. I always tag the owners of the hair. Okay, now people started coming to me because then in Rachel's page you always find good, beautiful hairstyles. But over time I realized that I don't think I want to continue doing this anymore. It's time to change and start narrowing down to my niche, which was speaking. So I realized that over time, some of those, I was almost on 17,000 followers before on Instagram. People that came in because of her saw that she's no longer posting hair. They started leaving. Am I happy they are leaving? I am happy that they are leaving. Am I happy that my followers are reducing? Do I really care? The most important thing is I'm now attracted to those that will have like minds. Even the Bible says iron sharpens iron, right? In the book of Proverbs 27:17, it says iron sharpens iron. So the thing is, your purpose will attract the right people to you. Okay, the people that you need to fulfill that your God-given destiny. Your purpose will attract them to you. So that's what I mean when you say. So why in a bit to discover your purpose, you will like one of my mentors will say is, some of your questions are embedded in someone else's story. So that has really worked for me over time. Also, while you're trying to do that, while you're attracting the right people, you will learn, you will unlearn, and you will relearn. That's very true. Let me not buzz down with too many talks. The next thing I have here is, when you know your purpose, you get a sense of assignment and responsibility. This reminds me of this lady, one BBC anchor host. I don't know if you get a chance, you can listen to her. Her name is Zain Asha. She talked about how hard work is one of the things that makes you successful, which is true. Having known that, she now realized that knowing her purpose attracted, she now had a sense of assignment and a sense of responsibility. The story is kind of long. You can see it on her TED Talk on YouTube. So I think that's all for the notes that I made for this class today. And I'll be waiting for your next video to give my next response. Thank you so much. In case anybody gets to find this message on YouTube, this is for my coaching section, with my coach. Her name is Miss Rachel Onyema Iro. Her middle name is Ginika, by the way. And also, the title of this video is How Does Knowing Your Purpose Help You, Give You an Edge in the world that we live in right now? So those are the little things that I explained. Thank you so much, guys, for taking our time to listen to my video today, and I will catch you on my next episode. Have a great day.